Hi, it's Catherine from New England Surrogacy. How you doing? Just want to check in with everybody. We've got a question today from a gestational carrier, prospective gestational carrier, and her question is, what are some things on the gestational carrier side that can hold up the screening process? So basically, the screening process starts when you submit your intake to New England Surrogacy, and then you'll move on to having a conversation with an intake coordinator, your application, and your medical records. Your medical records are going to be reviewed. So one of the things that can really slow down the process is if we have difficulty getting your medical records. Now, some of this you have control over, some of this you have no control over. Your control is over making sure that you fill out the medical records releases and get those back to us. And we make those as easy as possible. We do it electronically, so you can sign electronically and get that back to us. Most facilities will accept that, but there are a few that do require an actual ink signature. So if that's the case, we're going to have to, print and physically sign and mail that in. But your control is over how fast you get those releases back to us. Now, unfortunately, we do then have to wait in order to get the medical records from the facilities. And if you've been to several different facilities, you can imagine it might take longer to locate all the medical records. If your medical records have been archived, if they've been destroyed, that slows down the process. It makes things a bit more difficult. If you got your care, your prenatal care through a military hospital, that can also slow down the process of getting medical records. And as you can see, this is not necessarily stuff that you have control over. What you do have control over, though, is scheduling your appointments that you need to attend. And there's going to be an interview with one of our intake coordinators. So the sooner you can schedule that, the sooner that we can get things moving. And you're also going to have a meeting with a social worker or psychologist to do your mental health consultation. And so the way that works is that we strive to do those in person when possible. So it's likely that you're going to have to do that in person. Not only do you have to do that, but your spouse or significant other who lives in the home with you is also going to have to participate in that, again, in person. So scheduling that can sometimes be a bit tricky because it may require you to take some time off from work, arrange for babysitting, and so forth. So that's something that can slow down the process if it takes a bit for you guys to schedule that. And, that's just inherent in the process. That's the way it works. There may also be personal things to you that can slow down the process. So when you're ready to match, intended parents are generally ready to go right there and then. They have their embryos made, they're ready to get you scheduled to go off to their fertility clinic to finalize the screening. So generally, we're not going to match until you're ready to go too. So if you've got something scheduled in your life that is just makes it that you're just not ready to do surrogacy right now, that's totally fine. By all means, do what you need to do. If you're still breastfeeding, by all means, finish breastfeeding. But you are going to have to be done with breastfeeding before we can move forward with the screening process. If you're planning a cruise, by all means, go. Take your cruise. Have a great time. Surrogacy will still be here when you get back. Now, if you go to a Zika virus zone, that could put a delay on when we can match you and move forward with the rest of the process. But surrogacy is not going anywhere, so do what you need to do in your life, and then when the time is right, that's when we can match you and you can move forward with the process. So that's today's question. If you guys have any more questions, send them our way. We'll do our best to answer them all here on Ask Catherine. Bye-bye.